It's Monday, May 27th, right now on 12 News at 10.
Phoenix PD's bomb squad investigating a suspicious item at an apartment complex. What we're learning about the investigation tonight.
We are cranking up the heat and the triple digits are here to stay. I'll let you know if any records are in jeopardy for the upcoming week.
I'm Gabriella Becerra in Phoenix. As the temperature rises, so do calls for mountain rescues. Tonight, a warning to hikers around the valley.
A health scare for a family with Arizona ties, with family members being infected with brain worms after eating undercooked bear meat.
The Salt River wild horses are at the center of a lawsuit. What their future holds, coming up.
12 News at 10 with Mark Curtis and Caribe Divine starts now.
And we begin tonight with breaking news. DPS investigating a fatal crash on State Route 51. Officials with DPS tell 12 News the crash happened in the southbound lanes of the 51 near Bethany Home Road. Details are still limited, but we can confirm that someone has died. The 51 southbound is closed right now as the investigation continues, with all traffic being forced to exit at or before Glendale. The northbound lanes are unaffected.
We are also following two new wildfires that have sparked tonight. Officials with the Tonto National Forest say that 87 fire is burning on Bush Highway at State Route 87 and has burned about 85 acres so far. Multiple agencies are on scene battling the flames. We're told that Bush Highway is closed at State Route 87, but the road is set to reopen around 11 o'clock tonight. Meanwhile, the Green Fire is burning about 10 miles southwest of Casa Grande, about 2 miles south of Interstate 8. Fire officials say that it's burned about 30 acres and is currently pushing south, burning through grass and brush. We will keep you updated as we learn more on that fire.
And now to our weather as we kick off Arizona's hottest week of the year yet. With temperatures heating up, the valley is bracing for a full week of triple digits. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Mark Curtis.
And I'm Caribe Divine. The heat is on across the state, and we're getting ready for a dry week with temperatures over 100 degrees each day. Meteorologist Lindsay Riley is here with a first look at our forecast. And Lindsay, just how hot are we talking?
Well, 103 to 105. That's what it's going to be. That's above average. The average high right now is 99. So we're not going to be seeing a break in the triple digit heat for at least the next week. But even though we'll be above average, no records will be set. There's also no rain in the forecast. We're also a few days away from the month of June. June is typically the driest and the hottest month of the year. And the fire risk for the next week will also remain on the high side due to the heat, the dry weather, and the winds. And although there are no wind advisories, those gusts will be about 15 to 25 each day, and that will keep that fire risk on the heightened side. Here's our temperature timeline for the next 7 days. And as you can see, 105 tomorrow, down to 103 on Thursday, but right back up to 105 for the weekend. So the next several days will be very warm. Up in the high country, we're also going to be warming things up. Even Flagstaff hitting 80 degrees tomorrow. Sunshine each and every day through the end of the week up in the high country, even in the White Mountains, low to mid 80s, and we'll see some 90s around Sedona and upper 80s across the rim. So the heat is the big story for the upcoming week. Caribe?
All right, Lindsay, thank you. And just as Lindsay just said, it is hot out there, and there are plenty of ways that you can stay cool and safe from the heat in Phoenix. If you ever need a place to just cool off and hydrate, Burton Barr Central Library will be open 24/7. The Senior Opportunities West Senior Center, as well as the Yucca, Cholla, and Harmon libraries will be open from noon to 10 p.m. To find a heat relief center that is near you, just head over to phoenix.gov/summer.
Meanwhile, a warning from Valley firefighters tonight. As the weather heats up, be prepared if you plan on going out for a hike. 12 News journalist Gabriella Becerra is live in Phoenix tonight with what you need to know before you go. Gabby?
Well, Mark, the city warns even trained athletes have become caught off guard by getting dehydrated on some of the valley's hiking trail. They rescue more than 200 people every single year, and firefighters don't want you to be next. Monday's triple-digit temperatures, it's very hot, aren't keeping people from the valley's hiking trails.
First time in Arizona, it was a good experience.
which means rescue crews are also out and ready.
As the temperatures are heating up, we're out here more frequently for folks that overcome by heat and the environment.
Most recently, a 34-year-old woman needed to be rescued by helicopter from Tom's Thumb Trailhead in Scottsdale after falling more than 30 feet while rock climbing. She was wearing a helmet but is seriously hurt. Phoenix Fire Captain Todd Keller says most rescues are for people who went hiking during the hotter parts of the day.
It is going to sneak up on you.
Or people who didn't wear the right shoes.
There are some slip parts in there, and if you don't have the proper footwear, you will injure yourself.
He says people should hike in the mornings and evenings.
If you're not picking the right time to hike, you're not only putting yourself at danger, you're putting our first responders, our firefighters, our TRT members at danger also.
And come prepared with a fully charged cell phone and a friend.
If you aren't hiking with someone, at least tell somebody where you're going.
People hiking Monday afternoon have similar advice.
Bring lots of water.
Oh, yeah.
Bring more water than you think you'll need.
I feel like I've been drinking water all day and still need more.
Yeah, you can never have too much water, right, Gabby? Gabby, are there any restrictions for hikers when the temperatures climb into the triple digits?
Yeah, Caribe, the city of Phoenix actually closes all of its trails once the temperature reaches 105 degrees or hotter. And at 100 degrees, they no longer allow dogs to be hiking on the trails as well. Live in Phoenix tonight, Gabriela Becerra, 12 News.
Gabby, thanks. Tonight, an update on a story we first brought to you as breaking news at 6 o'clock. The Phoenix Police Bomb Squad was called out to an apartment complex tonight after someone made threats and left behind a suspicious item. Investigators say a woman dropped the item off at the office complex and then made a threat to an employee. Police detained the woman while they took a closer look at the item. They've since confirmed it did have some type of explosive compound in it, and they were able to neutralize it. Police searched the suspect's apartment as well as others in the complex and didn't find any other explosives. It's unclear at this point what charges that suspect is facing.
Also developing tonight, Phoenix police say that two men were hurt after an argument led to a shooting. Police tell us that they were called to the neighborhood of 33rd Avenue in Roosevelt just before 5 p.m. for reports of a shooting. Investigators believe that the two men were in some kind of argument when one of them pulled out a gun and then shot the other. That prompted a family member of the victim to get a gun of his own, which then led up to him shooting another man. Both men are expected to survive. Police say that they've detained everyone involved, but still no word on the charges that they're facing.
It's horrifying to think about, brain parasites. But tonight we're learning how infected bear meat left several family members sick with these parasitic worms. The incident from 2022 is now being detailed by the Centers for Disease Control. The family, and some of them are from Arizona, was gathering in South Dakota for a reunion. They ate some bear meat that was harvested in Canada and then frozen for 45 days before it was thawed out. 6 of the 8 people who ate it had symptoms consistent with a parasitic roundworm infection, and 3 had to be hospitalized. All of them have since recovered. The CDC says it's very important to be sure that wild game is thoroughly cooked before eating it.
Tonight, another lawsuit is going after the beloved Salt River wild horses. Environmental groups behind the litigation claim that the horses are damaging the land and forcing other animals out. But the group that cares for them says that that is far from the truth. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly spoke with both sides about the situation and tells us what the future could look like for the horses. Chase?
Caribe, those behind the lawsuit want to make it absolutely clear they're not trying to get rid of the horses by the river, but they do believe the population has to be reduced significantly. It's a busy Memorial Day at the Salt River, but it's not just cooling off in the water that brings people here.
I think a lot of people like watching the horses.
The Salt River horses.
Always expect to see the horses.
You're likely to see them because there are between 300 to 400 of them near the river. And to certain environmental groups, that's a problem.
It's an area that's not going to sustain more
than a few horses.
Robin Silver, the co-founder of the Center for Biological Diversity, along with other groups, filed this lawsuit against the U.S. Forest Service, claiming it has failed to come up with a science-based method to reduce the horse population, saying it's led to areas of the land being decimated by the horses and forcing other animals in the area to leave because of it.
They're needing to be artificially fed because there's not enough forage in the area.
He believes if the horse management group didn't feed the horses,
We would have mass starvation.
Silver made it clear,
Nobody's trying to get rid of all of the horses.
but did say the 400 horse population needs to come down to less than 100.
The state needs to come up with a science-based management plan, one that won't continue perpetuating destruction.
Simona Netherlands, president of the Salt River Wild Horse Management Group, disagrees.
You can clearly see on the green hills out here that this is not a decimated environment.
She believes the claims in the lawsuit are over-exaggerated, that the horses actually help preserve the land. Netherlands also says her organization's population control methods are working, going from about 100 foals a year to about 2.
It actually lowers the population without ever removing one horse. And that's the humane way to do it.
Believing that getting rid of any one of these horses isn't going to help anyone or anything.
They're really Arizona's treasure, so they shouldn't be treated like trash.
Chase, this is such an emotional issue for so many people, and this is actually the second lawsuit that was filed against the Forest Service. The last one was dismissed. So how do we know that this one won't get thrown out?
Well, Mark, I talked to Silver about that, and he tells me the reason why the last lawsuit was thrown out is because of the intergovernmental agreement at the center of this was expiring. So the judge decided, well, if there's no agreement, then there's no lawsuit. But Silver says that agreement was recently re-signed, so they are moving forward with litigation. As for how all of this is going to end, we'll have to wait and see what happens in court. We're live in the studio. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
All right, Chase, thanks. Still ahead.